Welcome, welcome, welcome. It's so good to see all of you. Thank you so much for being here. All right, Yala, let's get started. For those, I know everybody on this, so I don't know if I need to introduce myself, but hello, I'm Karen. It's good to see you, and I'm excited to kind of talk through what's going on. We started these briefings after October 7th, and we're going to continue to do them because each of you are a part of our Hillel community. And it is Hillel here in San Diego. What makes us unique and special is that we are a part of the fabric of the San Diego Jewish community. You are a part of our community as well. And so we want to make sure that you're connected to everything that we do from the beginning. And so that's where these community briefings came into play. And I'm grateful that we're entering this year from a place of strength and going in with a lot of purpose. So this evening, you're going to get a chance to hear about innovative programs and also connect with our students. So I want to bring us back to our mission and vision, because really everything we do is student-centered. We're clearly focused on our students. Everything comes from our students, and you'll hear from some really dynamic leaders that have risen as freshmen and have become these blossoming, amazing student leaders. But we are student-centered, and our purpose is to enrich the lives of Jewish students so that they enrich the world. And we do this through connecting them to Jewish life, Jewish learning, and Israel. And you're going to see that thread throughout the night. We are very mission and vision driven. So let's get into it. Last year was another incredible year. I am so proud to share that Hillel of San Diego is the fastest growing Hillel in the world for a second year in a row. So let's unpack that a little. In 2023, 2024, that school year, obviously, we got a new building in the beginning of 23, and then October 7th happened, and we literally doubled the size of the organization in 1 year, both in budget and the amount of students served. So going into 24, 25, we had no idea kind of what that meant, right? Was it going to level off? Was it going to die down? Were people going to kind of come and then go? But the momentum was there. And we actually grew by another 70% last year, which truly is insane. And that is more than any other Hillel in the world. We reach about 72% of all Jewish students in San Diego. The metric for success and for excellence, the aspirational goal within the Hillel movement is 70% penetration of students. We're at the 72 mark. So we already passed the aspirational goal that Hillel's tried to reach. And in fact, a couple years ago, we received a strategic growth grant. And we said, we're going to meet certain goals in the next 5 years of serving more students. And our 5-year benchmark goal, we actually met last year. So we're already there. And this is very intentional. Having high caliber Jewish professionals and being intentional about what it means to build community. So I want to reiterate that, because part of what we're going to be talking about is anti-Semitism on campus. There's no way to avoid it. But I was just in Israel on Federation's Gesher trip, and we spent a lot of time in our sister city in Shor HaNegev. And one of the most important outcomes that I had was that resilience happens in community. When you build a robust and dynamic and joyful community, people, whether they're young people or 100 years old, they thrive in community. And you move through challenges through having a strong community around you. I want to reiterate that Jewish clubs on campus are Hillel clubs. So you see Tritons for Israel, supported by Hillel, J Health, Tamid, Students Supporting Israel, Achayot, our young women's program that's going to transition into an AA5 eventually. Those are all supported by Hillel. They're housed at Hillel, and they're funded by you, right? You are what fund all of these student organizations that are actually making a difference on campus. And why why we are successful. Like, why is this happening? And it's students driving their own experiences. That's what makes us really successful. And that's what makes our program successful. I will tell you firsthand, when I say, let's do this event, nobody shows up. But when we say, students, what do you want to see on your campus? What type of Jewish identity and Jewish experiences do you want? That's when we see those numbers come into play. And we know that it works. So the other thing is, students come for the vibes, but stay for the friends. I can't believe I'm saying that, but that is really what it is. We actually saw that in the Federation's pulse survey, right? If people take the effort to show up for the first time, they are not coming back a second time if they don't connect with anyone. So in fact, we've actually empowered student leaders to do just that. At all major events, we have student leaders whose literal job is to find the students who are in the corners, who came alone, and talk to them. But more importantly, once they've learned about them, to connect them to other friends. It's this level of hospitality that we're teaching our students on how to show up as community members, how to be inclusive, how to connect, right? These are all transferable skills that are going to help them enrich the lives of the Jewish community once they graduate. This year, and we're teasing some stuff. This year, the school year started for 3 out of the 4 schools. UCSD starts, well, technically move-in is this week. We're in week 0, and it starts next week. We have already reached 400 students for the first time. 400, right? We reached over 1,800, 400 already in the first 3 weeks. But the crazier stat, and this is what I'm really excited about, is that over a fourth of them, over 100 of them, in the first 3 weeks of school, have already come to Hillel over 6 times in 3 weeks. So we're creating a community that's here. And in fact, at the Melvin Garb Hillel Center at SDSU, one of our beautiful buildings, I have never, I am here 5 years now. I'm in my 6th year at Hillel. I'm very proud of that. I have never seen the volume of students that we are seeing right now. We're averaging around 60 students just hanging out at Hillel every day. Shabbat's 100 students. You'll hear more about this, but we actually launched a new student club, and their first event, 100 people. First time. Our women's club that's going to turn into that AEFI, our Achayot, as I mentioned, 40 young women. The scale at which we are now serving young people, it's inspiring, and it's going to make our campuses better in general. It's going to foster a community, and that's going to impact all of the universities. It's also important to focus on this because the core of our work is Jewish joy and community. I keep saying this again and again, and you'll hear it when you see our work confronting anti-Semitism, but resilience comes from community. It's building intentional community as the heart of our work. So I want to highlight the level of wraparound support that we provide, because this is very unique to our San Diego Hillel. Literally every aspect of a young Jewish person's life is supported by Hillel. Every student who comes to Hillel receives care and connection for pretty much everything. So you want Torah study? Check, we got it. You want Shabbat and holidays? Check, we got it. Do you want public speaking skills so that when you leave, you're capable? Check, we got it. Again, it's enriching the Jewish people so that they can enrich the world around them, teaching them how to create community, how to show up for each other, how to connect with their Jewish identity so that when they leave college, they are active in their Jewish community. They're joining synagogues. They're creating havarot. They're an active and participatory part of Jewish life. Another part of that is that when they struggle, they should know that their Jewish community is there to support them. So we provide a lot of basic needs support for students. There is literally meals every single day that students are able to access. And it's just baked into everything we do. So the last thing I'll kind of mention is that 1/3 of our budget is focused on Israel education, connection, and advocacy. And I'm not talking just milk and honey Israel. I'm talking about really understanding and loving our Israel from a place of understanding and appreciating the complexity and beauty of it. So that looks like a lot of different things because every young person comes to Hillel with different perspectives. And so we create on ramps, whether they know where Israel is on a map, or they've been many times, or they're conflicted, right? We give a space for them to create an authentic and unique relationship with Israel that will fortify their Jewish identities. So we're launching an Israel 101, which is kind of the basics of history, from where is Israel in the Torah, where is it mentioned, right, to modern day history. And we're bringing in rabbis from the community to do that teaching for two things. One, because we have amazing rabbis in San Diego and they are experts. And two, one of our big goals is that we are a pipeline again into our Jewish community. So if our young people are connecting to the rabbis of the community, they're going to know where they want to affiliate. And ideally, this boosts all of our synagogue affiliation over the years. So we're connecting our young people into our community. We also have a masterclass Israel for those who have participated in an immersive trip like Birthright or Fact Finders, which you'll hear about in a little bit. And really unpacking the conflict, unpacking the diversity of Israel, pluralism in Israel, the Haredi community, all of these complex, very Israel specific pieces of content. We're providing a space for them to learn and to grow. And that's all a part of it. It's also wrapped up in making sure we send a lot of students on Birthright and then our Fact Finders mission, which is something that many people don't know about, but it's truly remarkable. And I don't mean to brag, but it is one of my favorite programs that we run. We send between 15 and 20 non-Jewish student leaders from our campus with 5 of our Jewish student leaders to Israel together to hear from a multitude of perspectives, to understand what's happening on the ground. And students learn about what Israel is beyond the headlines. The other piece of Israel Connection is that people to people. That is so core to what we do. The people of Israel are our sisters, are our brothers, and we want to cultivate that. So we run an Israel Fellows program through the Jewish Agency for Israel. And this year, one of our amazing Israel Fellows, Amjad Ferris, is joining us tonight. You guys, he is so remarkable. He has been with us for what, Amjad, how long has it been? Like a month?
A
And
month.
already he's built deep connections with our students. And so I wanted to introduce you, and I want you all to learn a little bit about his story and what an amazing person we are bringing to our campuses. So Amjad, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Good evening, everyone. I'm very, very happy and honored to be here. So, as Karen said, my name is Amjad Fares. I'm 29 years old from Israel. I come from the northern part of Israel, a small village called Khofesh. It's a Druze village in the Upper Galilee. About 2 months ago, I finished my degree at Reichman University in diplomacy and communications. And a little bit before entering the university, I finished my army service after 7 years in the intelligence corps. I was thinking about doing something very significant and work with the Jewish community as I love, and this opportunity opened in front of me, and I was like, yes, this is the right way, and I'm very happy about it. My aim in the future is to be a diplomat, and that's why I'm here. I want to work with the students to get to know them, to get to know the Jewish community abroad, and have skills in order to be a better diplomat for Israel in the future. I'm very happy to be here, and I have a lot of passion in with working with the Jewish students at Hillel, and one of my main goals is to reshape the public image of Israel. That's in general. Thank you.
Thanks, Amjad. I'll tell you what sold me when we interviewed him. So he's gonna laugh, but he has this vision to create, first of all, learning about the Druze community and connecting with non-Jewish students on our campus and building those coalitions. Amjad is an expert at that, and we're kind of already seeing that come into play. But he's going to create a Druze village, the bottom of the Melvin Garb Hillel Center, and invite people in for tea and that experience. And so, again, providing this rich culture around what Israel is and introducing that to the broader university community is definitely a part of Amjad's job. So thank you, Amjad, and welcome. So you guys will laugh, but really, like, the most stressful social piece of my college experience, and I went to UCSD, was whether the guy from the math department would come to my coffee shop so I could flirt with him, right? Like, I never once had to question my own identity politics about wearing a Jewish star necklace, sharing how many times I've been to Israel, wondering if a professor or a friend or even a therapist would be judging me for being Jewish. But now the sad reality is that Jewish students need more support, and they want it in a Jewish setting. So we've created a comprehensive wellness at Hillel program where we have hired a full-time mental health support system with a clinical social worker on our staff that's in partnership with JFS. So we get their clinical social work supervision, we get their HIPAA stuff so that we make sure that we stay compliant. But they are integrated with our team, and she's absolutely a part of our staff. And what's unique is that she's integrated in our programming. And the early results of her work and of our focus on wellness are speaking volumes, right? So again, we have been in session for 3 weeks, and we already have 14 counseling sessions that have happened. And then we have a wait list of 8 students who are going to be receiving counseling sessions at UCSD. This is even before the school year starts there. She's already had 175 engagements with students. Now, what does that actually mean? And I got that number and I was like, wait, what? What does that mean? And what that means is that, and this is what we were seeing, and this was a big reason why we needed to bring a professional on our team, was that we would be at a Shabbat and all of a sudden somebody would break down and they would have an anxiety attack and they would need counseling. They would need support and they need to kind of be. So what would happen is, like, I would bring them into my office and they'd get pastoral care that that our team is well trained on. But to now have a professional that's able to triage, that's able to support, that's able to kind of move somebody through their challenges and then continue on, like, okay, let's go back to Shabbat. That is a gift, and it is a support system that we are now providing for our students. Remember, our students dealt with COVID at formative times in their adolescence, in their social and emotional development. And so having that support system now is helping move them to a place of resilience and self-reliance. And our she's also doing wellness events that are normalizing wellness care as part of a young person's life, and that's going to make them better adults. And now I want to share our Jewish Networking Hub, which has been another cornerstone and innovative program for us. This is, again, a new strategy. Now, I want to again remind you that these strategies help make campus better. They are part of our efforts to shape the campus culture by providing holistic care for our students. The Jewish Networking Hub is incredible. It literally checks all the boxes: empowering student leadership, connecting students to the San Diego Jewish community. It's actually a great way for all of you to get involved. You can mentor a student, you can connect them to an internship. It provides real world tools. I have to tell you a story. We had an event and an alumni who lives in LA came down for the Jewish Networking Hub event because he was looking to network and he found a new vendor for his small business. I have 3 or 4 student internships that are happening because students were connected to community members, and they're thriving and they're gaining the tools. And in fact, one of them was like, I would have never met this person. I would have never connected with them had I not gone to this Networking Hub event. And he's going to hire me when I graduate. I'm going to have a job. Like, these are fundamental things that shape a young person's life, but also anchor them in their Jewish community. And this is, and I will say time and time again, right? Like our students, that I ask them, what do you want? Where do you want to see community members? How do you want them to show up for you? They want to be here for you. What do you want? And this is what they want. They want internships. They want mentorship. They want connections to their careers. They want places where they can accelerate who they are as adults. And in fact, oh, it's so cute. Ariella is one of our student leaders, and she said that she met another student at a different campus at a Jewish networking hub event. And so it's creating community across our campuses too. I love that. Thanks for sharing. The other cool thing is our Hillel Business Initiative. This is 1,000% student led. I'm not going to talk about it because Ronnie is one of our student leaders, because she is one of the founding members. So now let's talk about anti-Semitism, because this has become a significant part of our work. You'll notice that combating anti-Semitism is not in our mission. It's not in our vision, but it is core to our mission and vision working. I would encourage you, if you haven't read the UT, the Union Tribune today, we have an op-ed out today. And as we kind of approach our work fighting anti-Semitism from a lens of that wraparound care, right? Support the student, provide advocacy for them. You're going to get me on the soapbox. Thank you, Maya, for putting the link in the chat. If you haven't read it, it kind of describes how we approached combating anti-Semitism from a place of collaboration and supporting our students. But here's my soapbox. Students are not warriors. They're not on the front lines. They are not soldiers. They are students. Hillel professionals, we can be soldiers. We can be on the front lines so that they can be students. They shouldn't have to be warriors, right? That is not their job, but it is our job. And we're still seeing it. So I'll give you an example. There was an incident from last November that involved a truly egregious violation from a professor, and it is still not resolved. And that's one report, right? And we've had over 70 incidents in last year alone. 50 of them were at UCSD. 17 of them across all 4 campuses involved a faculty member. So what I want to highlight, though, is that having a support person is critical to our students feeling like managing an incident doesn't take over their life. What's happening is that students were reporting an incident and it would feel like a black hole because there's so much follow-up that needs to happen. And there are all these timelines and process when it comes to an investigation and an outcome. And students are not, again, they're not there to be warriors, and they don't have time for this to be taking over their life. So we kind of take that on for them. And the other piece of it is that we connect them with our wellness support to help them move through the challenge. We don't want anti-Semitism to shape their Jewish identity. We want them to move through those challenges and be fortified by their community. And these anti-Semitic incidents do not define who they are as Jews. So you're going to hear from our amazing community relations director in a bit, but I want to mention that we work really closely with the administrations on all of our campuses. And I will say this time and time again, we have major support from our campus leadership. I would say the chancellors and presidents of all 4 of our campuses are our partners and our allies, and I have seen they are highly motivated to make things better. And there's quite a bit of work to do. So just want to highlight that there is a new working group at UCSD that's focused on anti-Semitism. SDSU has had a task force for years, and its charge continues to be renewed by President De La Torre, and in fact has some very exciting initiatives and projects coming up. And USD continues to prioritize Jewish students. In fact, Hillel is embedded within the ministries at USD. It's a core part of campus life. So I would say that we're working with all of them to make some recommended changes that really include making sure that the academics are a marketplace of ideas, seeing professors under the guise of academic freedom pressing anti-Semitic and anti-Zionist misinformation or highly biased content. We're trying to get away from that. That Jews are a core part of campus life. I will say UCSD is starting on Rosh Hashanah this year, and it is not okay. And there needs to be religious accommodations. And those are the things that we are actively working on. It is a lot of hard work. But we do have focused partners who are committed to learning and growing. Sometimes it's 2 steps forward, 1 step back, but we are moving in the right direction. And I can't sing our praises enough for the partnership that we have on all of our campuses. And as mentioned in the op-ed, it's going to take time. There's not one policy, one protest or email that is going to do it all, but continuing to be consistent and active in all of these efforts is what's going to make a difference, and working in collaboration. Those are the pieces that we're seeing are helping move the needle. And so leading all of that work is my wonderful colleague, Jacob Mandel.
Thanks, Karen. Hi, everyone. Good evening. I'm Jacob Mandel. I'm the Community Relations Director for Hillel of San Diego. And like Karen mentioned, we have wide-ranging strategies to combat anti-Semitism on campus. I'll be telling you about 2 of them here tonight. The first is our case management. And I think this is something that really differentiates our Hillel from other Hillels throughout the United States. We're serving as a model with this work that we're doing here with case management. It's a wraparound service from start to finish. And as Karen mentioned, we heard from students that often reporting discrimination on campus can feel like a black hole, that nothing ever comes out of it. There's no follow-ups. They're not sure what to do next. And so part of my job is making sure that we know every piece of the puzzle, and I track every one of those cases. As Karen mentioned, we had over 70 incidents reported to us in the last academic year. We tracked each and every one of those cases throughout every agency, every department that it needed to go through. We created a reporting portal for students, so students could report to us rather than one specific agency on the campus that deals with discrimination, and then we could track it. I track every timeline, every time that I go into a student meeting and a university official says we're going to follow up on this certain date. I make sure to write it down, and then I follow up at that certain date if the university official doesn't do that. Everything that we do is within the full consent and with the students, so we make sure that the cases move forward. If a university official says we're going to follow this timeline and they don't, they'll find me knocking on their door the next day, making sure that they respond to anti-Semitism on their campus. However, it's not just case management that really differentiates us and the work that we do for fighting anti-Semitism on campus. We take a proactive step as well with our fact finders, which I know Karen touched on a little earlier. But this is such a key strategy on fighting anti-Semitism on campus because it really helps with our coalition building and building student leaders to help us fight anti-Semitism and change the culture on campus. I just returned from our fact finders trip. We took several UCSD students, both Jewish and non-Jewish. And these students were leaders on their campus. They're either involved in student government, in their fraternities, sororities. They're also some of the leaders of the most important clubs on UCSD's campus. And on campus, they hear a very biased opinion on Israel, which we know to not be fully true. And so we take them to Israel to find the facts, which is why it's called fact finders. We took them to the Nova Festival site. We took them to Kfar Aza, and I had a student come up to me, several students come up to me, but there was one in particular and who said to me, wow, I never realized the scale and the level of destruction that October 7th was. And I didn't also realize how much it affected Jewish students on our campus. And as we were on our bus on the way back, we had a wonderful discussion with all of these students about how can we work to build bridges on campus, interfaith coalitions, coalitions of students from all walks of life to be able to fight against anti-Semitism and discrimination on our campuses. And so when the students return, they're not just coming to Hillel, they're not just coming to Shabbat dinner, which we love. We love that they're coming there, but we also want to work with them and will be working with them to help improve campus climate for all students on campus and taking our strategies from reactive to proactive. And this is the impact that you have and that you support. And it's only possible from donors like you. So thank you so much. Really appreciate it. And back to you, Karen.
So let's talk about what this actually looks like. The fiscal realities of our organization. I have always been really transparent with all of you that what it means for an organization to be in rapid growth, and we need philanthropy to keep up with our student demand. That's just kind of the reality if we are going to continue reaching and supporting so many young people, which essentially is really critical to all of our collective Jewish future. Supported students become our future leaders, our future community leaders. They become the presidents of our synagogue. They become active in Federation and JFS and JCC. It's as simple as that. We see that what happens in college transforms who they become as adults. And I will just tell you, our staff grew from eight staff to 15 in the last 3 years. And we have professionals that deserve a living wage because they are professionals. We have a culture of excellence amongst our staff, and you're seeing the outcomes of that by the numbers of students that are participating, the numbers of students that are feeling anchored by their Jewish identity. You heard about the volume of students, so I'll give you numbers. Shabbats honestly used to cost $1,800, and I was always like, really, $1,800? Like, hi, really? Like, that's how much Shabbats cost? Yes, that is actually how much Shabbats cost. Now they're over 3,000 every single week. Our security on October 8th, we engaged with armed guards at both of our properties. We have not been able to release that. In fact, some of our students think this is the reason why I come to Hillel, is that it is the safest place for me. That is $250,000 a year. We are a small agency. So the fact that we are carrying $250,000 just for security, those are dollars that if we don't raise them, we have to take away from our student engagement. Jacob's department, literally an entire department focused on anti-Semitism, adds another chunk of dollars. And last, this is not flashy. This is not but it's a really important core part of a successful organization functioning efficiently and effectively. As our organization is growing, our systems have to work for us, and they needed to be upgraded in the back end. Our database was woefully inadequate, and so we are doing a database conversion. And for anybody who wants to get into the nitty-gritty, it is a nightmare. It is a lot of staff time. It is pricey, but it is so critical to growth, because when you have an inefficient back-end system, it takes time away from you actually doing the work with students. And so our growth demands that our infrastructure support that growth. So I'll be honest with you, we have very lofty fundraising goals. We are looking to raise $3.2 million. And I will say that, just a few years ago, it was much less than that, but we are a much bigger organization now. We are doing, our scope of work has dramatically increased, and with that, the budget has increased as well. There is a match going on right now. If you are inspired and you want to do your gift early, make your gift early, it's perfect time for Rosh Hashanah. Phyllis and Dan Epstein and Julie and George Braunstein have a $50,000 match going on right now. And we're like about $10,000 away from unlocking their match. So we're very, very close to meeting that goal. And if you are inspired tonight, it would mean a lot to have your support, because wow, what you are supporting are really, really remarkable students. And so with that, I want to introduce the students who you will be supporting. And so I'd like to bring on some of our amazing student leaders, and all women tonight. Doesn't mean that we only have women leaders. I will say that for one particular person on this call who's asked me that question before. We actually have, and this is a question, so I'll answer it now. We have pretty good 50-50 male-female involvement in Hillel. So we're not necessarily seeing any gender or non-gender trends, but tonight we're just happen to feature 3 female identifying leaders. So with that, I'd like to introduce you all. And first is Ronnie. So Ronnie, take it away.
Hi, everyone. My name is Ronnie Feldman. I'm a senior at SDSU and studying business entrepreneurship and statistics. I'm really excited to have the chance to share a little bit about myself and my experience with Hillel with you. So thank you all for being here. A little bit about me. I first walked into Hillel as a freshman, not really knowing what to expect. Honestly, I thought I'd grab a bagel and be on my way. And that one visit turned into so much more. I started joining clubs, helping out with events, and meeting so many new people. And before long, I was a student ambassador, welcoming others the same way that I had been welcomed. Now, in my senior year, I've stepped into the role of operations ambassador, managing the building's logistics, basically being the go to troubleshooter, whether it's turning on the projector, finding the projector, or really anything. I'm your girl. So over time, Hillel became my home away from home. It's where I've celebrated Shabbat and holidays, pulled really late night study nights, and I've built friendships I know will last way longer after graduation. Hillel also shaped me as a leader. I served as president of Tamid, a business club that worked with Israeli startups, and while Tamid is still active and thriving at UCSD, at SDSU specifically, I noticed it didn't necessarily prioritize students and it kind of lacked the space for creativity and real opportunities, which is what I love about Hillel San Diego, that while there are 3 different campuses, each one is personalized to its needs and none of them are the same. They're all different and they all prioritize the needs of every single student at that specific school. So that inspired me and a team of students to launch the Hillel Business Initiative, which is what Karen touched on. It's a place where students can experiment, build, and learn by doing. And our first event had an incredible turnout thanks to the students that showed up and as well as the staff who gave us everything we needed to bring our vision to reality. Another highlight has been outreach. So seeing so many new students walk into Hillel this year has been so rewarding. And for me, it's been almost like a full circle moment. Remembering how I once walked in as a nervous freshman and now getting to welcome others into the same home that shaped my college experience. Along the way, I've been involved with nearly every club and initiative there has been, or at least I've attended the events, including HBI, SSI, Welcome Week committees, and even marketing for Hillel itself. It's connected me to almost every part of this community. Hillel has also given me opportunities to travel to conferences in DC, Chicago, Dallas, and soon Miami, and even to Israel twice to help lead a geopolitical trip for non-Jewish students, the Fact Finders trip that Jacob talked about, which has genuinely been one of the most incredible experiences for me as well. And as someone who loves to travel, that's been pretty awesome. So as I get ready to graduate, I know I'll miss Hillel more than anything else from my college experience, but honestly, that's kind of the best kind of goodbye. One that isn't really a goodbye at all, because when something is this meaningful and full of community, it always stays with you. And for me, that's exactly what Hillel has been. Karen, you're muted.
So there's a joke that literally every meeting I pull this. Larry Katz can even attest to it. I always am like talking while I'm on mute. It's probably a good sign that I'm muted, but I love Ronnie. She is amazing. I'm obsessed with her. And I remember when she was a freshman, she came into my office asking for resume help, and it was so sweet. And now she's like such a superstar helping everybody else. But Ronnie, one of the things that I've seen in your own leadership journey is that you've really become an advocate on campus. Can you tell me a little bit, can you tell all of us a little bit more of what it means to be like, what does it mean to be a Jewish advocate on campus?
Yeah, I would love to. So, obviously, Jewish students know how important the Jewish community is, how important combating anti-Semitism is. It's like I like to say, it's preaching to the choir. We all know. And the most important thing, especially for college students, is to be able to bring in allies that don't necessarily know that how important it is, that don't necessarily have that education and that knowledge to help fight with us. So, I think it's super important to bring this knowledge to campuses. And I think having trips like Fact Finders, having clubs that don't necessarily exclude non-Jewish students, and having that presence and having that connection with other organizations and other communities is so, so important. So I know that we have really good ties with the Black Resource Center, with the Asian community, with literally everybody that exists, every diverse group. We try to build really lasting relationships really strong. So we invite them to every event that we have. We try to build collaboration events. And I think that really helps let people know that the misconceptions, they're very harmful and they're not true. And we're really great. We're actually a great time. And especially this year, I've seen so many new faces, so many non-Jewish students as well, that have come in, have showed support, and have been interested in learning more and building these bridges, and in general, just helping combat anti-Semitism and really achieve the goal that we have all along.
Yeah, amazing. And honestly, it takes vigilance and it takes intentionality, right, Ronnie? Because like
Yeah,
think
absolutely.
about like after October 7th, we were like, where is everybody?
Mhm.
And so since then, it's been very clear that we have to focus on building those relationships from a place of authenticity, that like we show up for other communities and they show up for us too.
Yeah, we show up. I mean, I completely agree. We also show up with other campuses. So UCSD, USD, we all come together for big events when it really is important. I met Ariella through our networking hub. I met literally so many UCSD students at different events. And we come together, we bring in non-Jewish students, we help each other out. And that's really just the community that I mean, it makes me so happy to see it happen. And I'm just so happy to talk about it all the time, literally ever.
For sure. Thank you.
Yeah.
Um, okay, I think Eliana, you're next. Yeah?
Yes.
Okay, talk to us. Tell us about your life.
Hi, everyone. My name is Eliana Levinson. I'm a senior at Cal State San Marcos. I'm studying child development and psychology, and I'm also very proud to be serving as the president at Hillel at CSUSM this year. I'm a transfer student, and after October 7th, I was really nervous to go back to school, seeing how the climate has changed so much. But once I finally joined Hillel after some nagging from my dad, my life changed forever, and I'm just so happy that he kept texting me to remind me to go. I really found my purpose and my community. I was just kind of lost after October 7th happened on where I really fit in this world now. And for this upcoming year, I'm just so excited for what we have planned. We have a whole lineup of amazing activities like monthly Shabbats, beach days, hikes, wellness events, going to sports games. And my favorite event that comes back every year now is Caffeine and Coloring, which is a weekly event on Thursdays where we get to just kind of hang out, and Hillel treats us to a Starbucks. And just overall, these student gatherings gives us a space to just be, to breathe, whether it's venting, relaxing, or simply hanging out, doing homework, asking questions for resources that you might need. And while they are fun and welcoming, they also are deeply rooted in the Jewish life, which is such an important aspect for me. And we weave Jewish traditions and educational moments into each event in a way that just feels natural and meaningful and accessible to everyone, regardless of your sect. And something that I'm especially grateful for this year, given that the climate's gotten a little tougher, is the addition of a wellness counselor. And it can be really tough to find a therapist these days, and who understands what it means to be Jewish. And just having someone that you can trust, and her creating a safe space for us really, really helps. And just overall, Hillel has given me so many opportunities that I just never thought could come true. I was like kind of the last person thought of, like, in my family or friend group that would be a part of this, and now I'm a leader and have just gained so many amazing connections that I will keep for the rest of my life, and I can genuinely say that. And it's just really been a place of community support and Jewish joy during my time at Cal State San Marcos, and I just can't wait to see what the year brings us.
I also, Eliana, I'm obsessed with you. We had like coffee and we were just like it was just, it didn't stop.
Mhm.
But Eliana, Cal State San Marcos is a much smaller school than SDSU and UCSD. and we're starting to see some more anti-Israel, anti-Semitism kind of coming into that campus in ways that we're noticing. How has that impacted you? And what sort of like what have you been able to do through Hillel or in general?
Yeah, so it's been a journey. This has been my first time on campus actually seeing the anti-Semitism and getting it towards me, which has never happened before. And it still feels a little overwhelming to be on campus, and the energy can be a little negative. And through Hillel, through community, I honestly don't know how I would be surviving on campus right now without Hillel. I have a lot of online classes this semester, and I'm really only on campus for Hillel events, and that's like really where I feel safe. And so just the help from admin and our amazing advisor Alex this semester, we've just really been able to create those connections with admin to help fight anti-Semitism on campus, as well as through Hillel now having that wellness counselor helping with the after effects of the trauma that we've experienced on campus. And it's real. And I I'm really open and vulnerable with my students, and I hope that they feel like they can be that way with me. And so just, hearing what they're going through, I always recommend the wellness counselor because it's really just a time to vent, really be honest. If you feel like you can't maybe talk to a regular therapist about it, if they're not Jewish, don't understand it. And it just, yeah, I go every Friday and it's just like a nice little pick me up and just makes me feel better and makes me feel validated, which I feel like a lot of Jewish students are missing right now.
I love that. Thank you for sharing. And thank you for being so honest with all of us.
Always.
Yella, tell us about your life.
Hi guys. So my name's Ariella. I'm a third year chemical engineering student at UCSD. When I first got involved with Hillel, it was mostly like social events and it was mostly just community stuff. But after October 7th, it kind of shifted to be more about activism and having like a real support system to help navigate like everything Jewish students are facing on campus. This year, I'm going to be co-president of Tritons for Israel, which is like our pro-Israel club on campus. And I'm also going to be serving on the student board for Chabad at UCSD. So I'm just helping them plan events and making sure like their events don't intersect with other events and this and that. And I'm also going to be working as a student ambassador for Hillel. So I'm really grateful for the opportunities Hillel has given me because like both in terms of work and also community, because it's a place where I really feel at home and where people know me, support me, and they like actually want me to succeed. It's not like a fake like type of thing. People actually want to see you succeed, and there's no like, it's just so genuine. Unlike or like many students, I've experienced anti-Semitism on campus, but every time it's been handled with a lot of care and professionalism, especially by Jacob Mendel. And through those experiences and through programs like Fact Finders, I've grown even closer to him. Fact Finders was an especially powerful experience for me. Like literally like a life-changing trip, completely life-changing. I served as a Jewish recruiter for the program, and I brought non-Jewish students to Israel to learn about the conflict. And we heard from both Palestinian and Israeli speakers, and a bunch of other people too. Like when we went shopping in Jerusalem, I was talking to this Bedouin guy, and there was also we talked to this Druze woman. We're talking to a bunch of different people. And basically allows everyone to form their own opinions about a very complex issue. Like everyone came there with their, their sides and this and that. And I think everyone just left thinking like, I'm pro peace. And I really understand how complex this conflict really is. And the best part was when we got back and we were all dropped off at Hillel, I heard everybody saying, see you at Shabbat next week, even some of the non-Jewish students. That made me so happy because it shows how much of an impact this program has. And Jacob was there for us throughout the entire trip, guiding us through these processing sessions, which I felt was even deeper. Like, I feel like everyone was very emotional, like on the verge of tears, at least I was at these processing sessions. And it was my first time in Israel. So it really made it so meaningful that it was this kind of a trip and not kind of like a vacation like type of a trip. But I learned so much about myself, about Israel, about the conflict, about like students. Like I learned so much. But yeah, I can't say enough good things about fact finders and Jacob Mendel. Those are my two favorite things.
I love that so much. Yeah. So, okay, Ariella, also one of my favorites. You guys are catching the theme here. Ariella, what is your dream? What do you want to see happen on campus this year?
I want to see a community that is not only Jewish students, but is that just all students on campus enjoying Israeli culture, enjoying Israeli events, enjoying Jewish events. I always said that this year I want TFI to be a fun program that shows Israeli culture. We've been so enveloped in the politics the past few years that nobody has like been like, oh, like I want to try shakshuka for the first time. A bunch of people at Fact Finders tried it for the first time and they loved it. So I think that like just little things like that, showing culture. Oh yeah, sorry, Tritons for Israel, the pro-Israel organization. But just showing little bits of culture and little bits of community. That is how we show people that like it's just how we bring people in and how we build a community and like have just a bunch of fun on campus. But yeah.
Okay, I'm going to ask the same question to all three of you. If you could dream up the coolest event, coolest program that you would love to see happen on your campus, what would it be? And audience, they did not know I was going to ask this question because I literally just came up with it. So I have no idea what they're going to say. Hillel staff might be freaking out right now, but I want to hear what do you want to do? Okay, Ariella, you can start.
I think any event is the most fun event when it's all of our campuses together. The times when I have the most fun is when it's everybody together, all the Israel fellows together. You're meeting new people from new campuses. You're meeting like all these new things. Like, don't get me wrong, I love everybody at UCSD, but I see them every Friday. Like, I want to, get some other people in there, and I think that's like the most fun when it's the most people.
I absolutely agree. I think when we have UCSD kids come to SDSU or SDSU kids come to UCSD and we have USD and San Marcos kids, it's the most fun. We had Purim, we had Yom Ha'atzmaut, we had the Shuk. I think there's so many incredible events that happen when we're all together. And if I had to create one that's like the event of all events, I would do something similar to the Shook that we have at UCSD, but we'd add in like a DJ and we'll have every aspect of the beautiful Israeli and Jewish culture, the Druze culture, just everything about what we love, and just put that into one giant event. I think that would be incredible. I'd be
Done. Eliana.
I would say Jewish wise, I mean, yes, definitely like a cross campus event would be amazing, like a comedian or something that is still like educational about Judaism and Israel, but funny too. Yeah, but okay, non-Jewish, just like kind of really stupid, a rage room.
I love this.
I just think all of us need a little rage room.
Done. Sign me up. So and honestly, like I'm asking because we will make this happen. And that is really the beauty of Hillel. Like again, student driven. You want something to happen, we're gonna do it. The business, the Hillel business initiative, it was students that were like, we want to do this, and we're like, done, let's make it happen. And I think the three of you can kind of attest to that's our model. And that continues to be our model. And it's kind of always been the through line in our marching orders as we make decisions around how we handle challenging situations. So Thank you, thank you, thank you to these remarkable young women and for their leadership. And I hope each of you were inspired by that. It is 8:29 and I am crazy about ending things on time. And so I want to thank all of you for being here tonight, for hearing from our students, from hearing and wanting to learn about, the direction of Hillel and the choices that we're making for our whole community and Jewish continuity in general. If you are inspired, it is literally my job to say this. I will continue to say it because what it does is it funds these young women's dreams. We have a 50K match going on right now, and we would love to see your support. I'm sorry, I can't help myself. I know what those dollars go to. I am crazy. I will not turn on the AC if I'm the person in the office because I don't want a dollar of your money going towards my AC. I want it going towards Ronnie, Ariella, and Eliana. So just know that everything you invest in Hillel goes right back to those young people who are changing the world. So I hope you have a wonderful night. Thank you so much for joining us. And we'll see you later. Shana Tova. Have a great night. Thank you.